On our podcast show this week, we'll be talking about the exciting world of air travel, what you need to prepare, how to look for the latest deals, and what type of gadgets that you'll need to take with you. As you know, this year, we'll be heading to COMPUTEX in Taiwan, and we'll be traveling by air from Vancouver to Taipei. And that's a 12-hour flight with a massive 16-hour difference. Yes, time difference. It'll be fun. And most importantly, you'll also need to be safe too. We'll give you some personal tips based on our experience. So let's begin. Stephen, are you excited about the Taiwan trip?
I am very excited. It's been many years since I've been back, and I absolutely love Taiwan. It's one of the places where I think needs to be left alone for many various reasons. It's such a unique place because it has been left alone, and it's shown the world so many amazing things. It's influenced so many people. It is the birthplace of bubble tea. It is a place that even Miyazaki went to influence him for his film Spirited Away. There's a place in Taiwan that actually looks exactly like it. It's exactly how it was created. And this place needs to be left alone to flourish. And you're welcome to visit.
Oh yeah, I mean, apart from tech, we all know Taiwan is the birthplace of tech. But of course, there's other things. The tourism, including there's like tea mountains, tea leaves. Yeah, they're famous for tea leaves, right? And there's also hot springs,
high mountain coffee, hot springs in Beitou.
That's right.
So many amazing places. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and the food. I mean, the Taiwanese beef noodles is like world famous, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a balance because in Taiwan you walk a lot, but you also eat a lot. So it balance. We won't get any fatter. We'll probably get skinnier. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Taiwan. I love the people. They're really friendly. And it's a mix of cultures, right? Because you see a lot of Western culture stuff in there as well, but also very traditional Chinese. But it's a place where it's kind of like a lot of people do go to because it's affordable, right? Mm-hmm. If you go to a lot of places where, you go to like all the nice beaches in the Caribbean and things like that, it's going to cost you a little bit of money to travel there, right?
Yeah. And you have
Taiwan,
yeah. It's also one of the places where if you've ever been to Japan, it's extremely expensive. And if you go to Korea, also kind of expensive. If you want a place that has all of those cultures well integrated, come to Taiwan because I hate being like the Taiwan poster child, but it's pretty cool because Japan was actually occupied, so a lot of Japanese culture is still there. You also have Korea, which it neighbors Taiwan, so a lot of Korean culture is there. A lot of Korean tourists come there. So when you go to any Japanese restaurants, any Korean restaurants, they are straight up authentic.
Top notch.
Straight up authentic.
Yeah, top notch. Yeah. And I love going back. I think the last time I went was 2019. You were like 2016 or 17, right?
Something like that. World Congress of IT was the last time I was there.
Yeah. I was there for the last COMPUTEX, and that's 2019.
Yeah, that was the last time I had a chance to fly in business class.
Oh, nice, nice.
There's a vlog somewhere where I fly. I missed my flight. I actually messed up the time. So, Winston, you have to make sure that I get on the right flight because
that's right. 16-hour time difference between PST, that's the Pacific time, to Taiwan time, which is like
I think what happened was I got to the airport on Sunday at 2 a.m., not Saturday at 2 a.m.
Yeah. So you need to be careful with the time difference. Yeah, definitely. Oops. But while I was in Hong Kong, it was only a short distance of travel, so it was like an hour or two, which is
hour 45. Yeah,
it was really short, and I love going there because when I was working in my other company, we used to go there like maybe twice, 3 times a year. So I have a lot of friends there as well, and you wouldn't believe there's quite a lot of American influence as well because they love baseball, they love all that kind of basketball as well, and I think you see. Well, from some of the vendors that we deal with, like I think it was Gigabyte, the whole team of Americans were there doing their PR marketing and stuff like that.
A lot of NBA influence. I mean, you'll see a lot of hotels where you'll see like NBA, and a lot of NBA stars tend to go there because it's understandable enough. They can get around, no problem.
Yeah.
But then you see a towering basketball player walking through these crowds. It's actually pretty funny. The guy's like 7 foot almost, and everyone else is like 5'3" average.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I love Taiwan. So, if you want to go there, how would you get there? Well, there's a ton of apps you can actually use to book your best deals. Look for the best deals, right? These include Expedia, Kayak, Hopper, I think, as well, Booking.com and Trip.com, and there's many more. But they usually offer both flights and hotel bundles. So check that out because they do get good discounts. And just do a little research and try and look for some best deals. So for me personally, I use Expedia a lot, and I've been using that for many, many years because while I was in the UK, I used Expedia. I was in Hong Kong, also use Expedia because they do hotel and flight bundles, which is great. I don't have to look for hotels. I don't have to do research. They match the location that where you're going to be staying with the hotel and the flight, return flights. And you can choose your flights as well. You don't have to fly the same carrier, and just look for the times difference and also what best match your schedule. So with that, what about you? How would you look for some deals, Stephen?
Don't discount Google for this. Google actually has a trip tracker available, including hotel rate tracker. So if there's specific hotels in the area that you want to stay in, and you know that those are the ones that you need to go for, you can almost use like a surgical strike to track the history of that flight and also the history of that hotel to tell you when the best possible time is to book. Hopper is very much the same. It will give you indications that it's going to go way up in price and you should book right now, and it gives a rating. That's how Winston and I figured out that, oh crap, we better book this weekend or it's going to go up to $2,600. And it did. It went up to $2,600 for flight to Taiwan around this week, and it was insane, right? Yeah. So using these apps is to your advantage. If you're going to travel and it tells you to book now, you better do it because it knows better than you, because it's taken multiple indicators in the industry, all the flights passed, everything to tell you that it's a good idea to do it now. It's also green right now, so do it now. Yeah. And Expedia, like you said, is a great option. I use Expedia as well too to kind of see overall what flights are available. But once I figure out that that's the flight I want, I put it into Hopper. I put it into Google.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can do all different types of tracking as well, and it makes sense because sometimes the flights are booked at different times of the day, and it gets cheaper. So, for example, if you book in the weekday, maybe on a Thursday or a Wednesday, it's actually cheaper. But if you book in the weekend, because everybody knows, free time weekend, that's when they look for deals. There's going to be a lot more people searching for flights and hotels and things like that. So look at weekdays and also try and fly not towards like the holiday periods, because that's going to be expensive. You know that, right? Yeah. So of course, if you can't, scheduling time is most important. So if you have kids and you go on holiday and stuff like that, there's not a lot you could do, but you can also search for the best price. So do that, definitely.
Yeah, it's like the difference between going to Las Vegas during CES and Las Vegas during the Concrete Show. The Concrete Show obviously has a lower number of people going there, even though there's an international audience. So when you're booking for certain weeks, look at what shows are going on during that week. If it's CES week, forget it. It's going to be extremely expensive and you're not going to enjoy your time. But if it's the Concrete Show, well, you know what? It's okay. It's okay, right? It's okay.
Concrete Show.
Concrete Show. I walked by. It was at the Luxor. It was funny to see. But yes, it exists.
With air travel, it's going to be a bit of a pain because there's a lot of things that you need to consider, right? So, getting to the airport is one thing. Having to check in with the correct travel documents is another, right? Especially with, recent COVID restrictions being slowly lifted. Some countries may still have restrictions, so you got to look out for that. So don't be caught. Remember to bring, of course, a valid passport with at least 6 months before expiry.
Validity,
now, this is also a return flight. Right. So if you go in there for like, say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the return flight, you also need to be within that valid 6 months, right?
Oh, a lot of people have been stuck that way. Yes.
Yeah. So, don't forget that. And then your vaccination proof. So most countries require 2 jabs. So if you haven't got jabs done, if you need to travel, it is best because the airport will straight up refuse you. To check in.
Right? Actually, it's even just the country will not the airline won't let you, the country won't let you leave because I recently had this issue in Italy when I was coming back from Rome. going to the US, right? Like
right.
of all the places in the world, the US, oh yeah, no, like we're more against
Open.
the jab. But when you're coming back into the country, they're like, oh no, you have to have the jab. So they required a international, and you can download this. US has a similar one, but in Canada you have the international pass with the barcode and everything like that, shows which two vaccines that you had.
Yeah,
it must be two. And then once you show that to them and they look at it, they scan it, you're good to go. You can board the flight from Italy back to the US. If you don't have that, you're stuck.
Yeah. So do be careful and double check on that as well. Some people have like 3-4 jabs.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But
kids are an exception. Kids are an exception, but adults must.
Yeah. And also have your hotel or Airbnb booking, because some places they require that. Say, hey, where are you staying? And you think, oh, I'm just gonna find a hotel, and think, oh well.
No. You have no plan. Yeah,
you have
buddy.
No plan. You say, so yeah, hotel booking also helps as well. And most important, of course, visas. Some countries allow visa-free travel, such as US, Canadian, and UK passports.
Yeah.
But then also certain countries require visa. I know Hong Kong residents, they require visa to go to Taiwan.
Yes.
See, you can get one while you land, but it's just queuing up and paying fee.
It's just a pain in the butt. If you're prepared, you should have an awesome trip. If you're not prepared, then you're going to have a stressful trip.
That's right. So get your documentation in place and have it checked and make sure you have all that ready to go.
The other thing too is that some of these documents, some of the more obscure documents that you need to travel back and forth depending on your residency status, the airport or the attendants, because there's a lot of new staff as well too from the turnover from COVID and everything, they may not know what it is. Give them a break for a sec. Have them contact people. So this is the right pass and everything like that. But also remember, this is the effort that you have to put in. Sometimes it's not worth the effort. There has been a recent high profile case where it was one of the refugee councils in Canada. The leader of it had a refugee status card that she used to travel back into Canada and back and forth. And one of the airlines that she was traveling on, I believe they didn't recognize what this document was. So they didn't let her board the plane. Now, obviously, these very obscure pieces of documentation, you don't expect things to go wrong. But if it's not a passport, if it's not something that is universally accepted, expect there to be some friction. There's also requirements on per airline as well too, because they make up the rules. So if you want stress-free travel, look ahead, be over documented if you can, and then that way you're in and out. And don't argue with the flight. Don't make trouble, right? If you're on the flight, everyone wants a peaceful flight. Don't be that one person.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard stories. I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but I've heard that for every traveler that lands at their destination and they go through immigration, if they get refused immigration because of certain documents, right, that airline gets fined.
Yes.
Per passenger.
Yes.
So that's why the airline is so strict for you to have the right documentation before you board, because they get fined for every passenger that gets to the destination and refuse entry.
Yeah, there's an audit trail. If they let you through because they're being careless, because because you were being an ass and you yelled at them and they cried and they let you through, that airline is black. They get a black mark on their record. Yeah. So don't do that, right? Like if you're prepared, they're prepared to accept you and you're going to have a wonderful trip. Yeah. But if you're going to be one of the K names of Karens, any gender, you're not going to have a good time, and you're going to make sure that everyone else around you is going to suffer just like you. They will deplane the entire flight just because one person's being an idiot, right? You're not prepared. It's going to happen.
That's right. I mean, at the end of the day, the cabin crew is just doing their job, right? So you got to be patient. You got to be calm. I hate the security lines, right?
Yeah.
Because you go in there, you gotta like take
Everyone
out your
hates them.
laptop, you gotta take the jacket, you gotta take your belt. Some of them you have to take your shoes off.
Yep.
It's a pain in the ass, right? And that line could be, I don't know, 50, 100 people in front of you, and you catch you. Honestly, you're late. If you're gonna be late, you're gonna be prepared. So you could have at least 2 hours at the airport before anything, right? Because you could go through the security checks, and that's part of the time.
It's part of being prepared. I mean, I've seen some people go through the scan 5 times because my watch. Oh yeah, my belt. Like, dude, seriously? Is this like your first time on a flight?
But also there's older elderly traveling, right? So they may not be all clued up with all the latest tech, all the latest, the security checks and stuff like that. So you got to be patient, allow them to do the stuff. They could be disabled people as well. So please be patient. You get your turn, but then, if you're prepared, then it should be a breeze. But
if everyone's prepared, it makes it so much easier. And Winston is right. You're right. Like, absolutely. Just exercise a little bit of patience as well too. There's 100 people. Everyone's in the same boat. They have to get through the line. Sometimes the customs people will see, they'll actually wave you to another line. So give it a sec.
Yeah.
Give it a sec.
But there's one thing that I'm not sure if it's their quota that they need to do. Sometimes they pick random people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pick random people. Say,
random.
Hey, okay. Random. But it's something to do with, they have a quota they need to fill. Yeah. Probably. I'm not 100% sure they must do, because it was just random people. I don't think, say elderly. Yeah. I've seen elderly get picked. And
actually, you make a good point. It's not the reason why you're picked is not because they've seen you. The reason why you're picked is because the boarding pass that's printed randomly puts a code on yours, and then the person at the front immediately checks that, because they haven't even seen you. They're not judging you by your skin color, by your race, by your religion, anything. You literally got a random stamp on a piece of paper that came from the ticket counter that they're checking against. They didn't pick you. So don't get mad at them. Right? Don't get mad at the ticket person either, because it was the machine that just doo-doo. Sorry.
Yeah. So it could be an AI working there. I don't know, some AI.
I don't think they're that fancy. I think it's truly like some random thing going on in the background some algorithm, right? Like when robots blink. Right. So that's out of anyone's control on the front line. And please remember that when you're on the flight, they're not sky waitresses. They're actually safety people. They're trained to give you CPR. They're trained to give you first aid. They're trained to get you on and off the flight in under 6 minutes or something like that. Some ridiculous number. Yeah.
I mean, the cabin crew, they do their best. Of course, they got to serve the food. They got to do the drinks and everything, right?
Yeah.
And, depending on the flight, you could be there for 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, right? You got to give them a break. Plus, they're literally not sleeping.
No, they're not.
They're not. They might be resting, but they're not sleeping because they have needs that they need to attend to, especially people who require special needs or elderly child and stuff like that. So you got to give them a break. And they're traveling like 12 hours, 13 hours. We're all sleeping and eating. They're basically on standby.
They're up back and forth, right? So I mean,
they're on standby.
You have to understand that that's what they're going through, in addition to making sure that they're looking out for things that could jeopardize the flight. Like, their eyes are open. They might be a little suspicious as a result of that, but it's only because it's their job. It's not your job to worry about that. That's why you're there, to enjoy the flight, but it's their job to make sure that, oh, you know what? That looks a little pokey, or that thing is slithering around up there. I wonder what that is. Is that a snake in the plane?
Or even if you have like carry-on luggage and you can't find a space to fit it in, don't randomly just shove someone else's
seen that before, actually,
and kind of ram it in.
Yeah.
Ask the flight attendant, right? Ask the cabin crew. Hey, there's no space. Could you find a space for me? And they will help you, right? Yep. No, don't try to say, oh, there's no space, and going off in a rant. Hey, there's no space. Fine, they'll find space for you, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. And there's other people, there's other passengers on the flight. So make sure that you have to deal with them for the next 13 hours. Because if you go and piss off someone
It's a
And they
very
sit next to
long
you.
13 hours. I'll
It's
tell
gonna
you
be a
that.
long
I'll tell you
13
that.
hours.
Right. So like be the one that helps the old person get their stuff up there. Be the one that, like, drop everything in your seat and help that person so that the line gets through. You're even though people may not remember right away, they will remember when they walk past that this guy's okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, just little gestures like that, or helping someone out with
it's making your flight comfortable, and then also making someone else's flight comfortable, so you can be comfortable both, right? So,
my only exception is that I always pick an aisle seat and I pay for that. In this case, we're not paying for Taiwan because it's included in the ticket price, but I always pick an aisle seat. I will never trade an aisle seat for any reason.
We can pick an aisle seat. I usually an aisle seat.
I'm aisle,
it's
right?
Easier to get up and
exactly,
go
right?
to the toilet if you want.
Yeah. So I mean, I will not trade my aisle seat. If you want to trade a seat, give me another aisle seat. That's all I ask for, right? But if you want me to go in the middle, forget that, right? Because I paid for that seat, right? The fact that you weren't prepared, why does it have to affect me, right? I want that seat for 13 hours. I wanted it and I paid for it. I knew what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what are the worst things that I think could have? Well, especially, the front seats. I say the front seats. It's the front seats before you go into the next cabin.
The bulkhead.
Yeah, you have like a wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are mostly reserved for family with kids.
Yes.
So you can have kids there.
Yeah. The babies will be behind, the little kids in the front. I know this. It's true. It's true.
You don't want to book or get those seats just behind that row because you're going to be all noisy from the kids.
Well,
so
funny enough, we do have those seats.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, but the reason why is, okay, if you look at the floor plan, and I know you saw this, there's a huge gap. So we get way more leg room so that they can actually do their business and take more space, right? So by dealing with the sound, you actually get more space.
More leg room.
More leg room.
I guess.
Okay, so pros and cons. I myself, because I have lived through 3 children crying and stuff like that, I've tuned out. I'm completely immune because I know that's not my child. I'm going to sleep right through it. I don't know how you're going to deal, but I'm going to sleep right through it.
Yeah, I got my noise cancelling headphones. I think I'll just nod off.
We'll talk about that in a sec. So, yeah, I don't care. Like, if you want to give me first class and stick me with the kids, go right for it. I will be fine.
Yeah. If you upgrade to first class, I'm down for that. I don't mind.
That's a good, that's a good upgrade. I don't know if they're going to do this at all, but keep an eye. When we're at the airport, the best time to upgrade is actually at the airport because they may want to just sell off the last couple seats to kind of balance out the plane. So if you're in a situation where the plane does require balance, they might randomly they'll randomly pick passengers from the pool to actually go up there, or B, if you can get them at the right time, they might just charge you a ridiculous price to just put you in that part of the plane. So when we both go to the airport, Winston, what we're going to do is we're going to ask the nice attendant, hey, Suja, do you have an upgrade for us and how much is it? I've upgraded twice to first class. I've upgraded twice, once in EVA.
What was the cost?
See, this is what I can't imagine is better. The last time I upgraded, it was free.
Oh, free?
Because I didn't pay for the flight. China Airlines, that flight was booked for me by the Taiwanese government. So when I asked for the upgrade, they're like, huh? Okay, you go. Right? So you get free lounge access and everything. The first time that I ever did it was on EVA. And this was the time that, it was funny. It was going back to Canada. There was actually a Taiwanese pop star with her bodyguard on there. And she's like, when I was skinnier, she's like looking me down, getting thirsty. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Sorry, children. I remember her name. It's Makio.
Oh, Makio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened? Tell your story.
That was it. She probably went like up to the whatever, but I ended up in first class. I paid $120.
Canadian.
US.
Oh, US? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's okay.
This is like 2006, 2005 though.
All right.
So this is like a good 15 years ago.
So plus inflation, you're looking probably around about 200 to 300.
400 is what I would have paid for the flight for Taiwan in 2017.
Right.
So,
So it
how
depends on
much are you willing to pay, Winston, to get into first class?
additional
Yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah.
I'll probably pay 300 max.
Okay.
Max.
Okay. So if it's 300, we both go, right? Deal?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
it's a different experience. Let me tell you.
Oh, amazing. Oh, actually, you know what? If we can get into premium economy, I'm okay too.
Yeah.
Because in premium economy on China airline flights, they're twos.
Oh, so it's even better, more leg
You have
room.
a lot more room. And you also get the padded seat belt and everything. It's fine.
Oh, nice.
So Winston, if we can get into first class or premium economy, you're in, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'll go for that.
All
so
right,
yeah,
cool.
look for deals like that at the airport. So, something that if you're willing to upgrade, you got a little bit of budget, then go for it.
Just ask. Just ask.
Yeah, just ask. Let's talk a little bit about travel insurance. So normally, I would go for travel insurance if it's a packaged holiday, right? Because of if you have family, if you have kids and things like that, I think definitely go for that. If you're traveling alone, there are deals you can go for travel insurance, but also if you check your credit card, because some credit card include travel insurance.
That's right.
So it depends on which type of card you have. When you purchase the flight or the holiday or the package with that credit card, it provides that insurance. Travel insurance, including like lost luggage, changing flight times and stuff like that, and also covers I don't know how many $thousands worth of medical expenses, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so look out for that.
Yeah. Read your policy specifically on the travel section. Just skip the whole book and just look at this part. And then you'll see what you get. And then if you're not sure that you get that call, the credit card company, every call is monitored for quality assurance purposes. So they've recorded that conversation that's correct.
Yeah.
Because they're
check the policy. Yeah.
So just check it out. I know that my card that I booked it on is a American Express Marriott Bonvoy card, which is actually a travel card. So not only do I get points for hotels and everything like that, but my status allows me to get certain perks. So that was good when I booked my plane ticket directly from China Airlines, is that it's registered as China Airlines, this flight, and all the privileges that you get. Now, that's not just for travel cancellation, Winston. We still have to deal with medical. Now, a lot of people in the US specifically are used to paying huge bills. And this is sad that they have to pay $1,000 for a broken finger, $10,000 for a day hospital stay. This is ridiculous. But in Canada, we get those things domestically, but we don't get them overseas. So medical insurance is actually very important. And if you can buy it, if you can have it purchased from your credit card company, you're welcome to do that. You can even call them at the airport and say, hey, I'm going now. I totally forgot to buy it. Or B, in Canada, there's also CAA, BCAA. They actually sell medical insurance, and it's very inexpensive. It's like $10 a day or something like that, or they have packages, and you should buy that because you never know what will happen getting off an escalator. You might be getting on the plane and some idiot closes the door on you. It happens, right? And you don't want to be stuck and laid up in a country that you're not familiar with, that you don't have any help in, no insurance. You're going to be on the street. There's no way about that.
Be
get
expensive,
the insurance.
Yeah.
So
definitely go for insurance. Even if it's little coverage, whatever. Just look at the policy, look at what's covered, and if it's affordable, just go get it. If it's like $50, $60, go for it, right?
Yeah, go for it right away. Yeah. And like one of the things too is that if you have coverage insurance from your work or anything like that, check those policies as well too. Sometimes there is a travel rider on them, which means that you can travel anywhere with that insurance as well too. So there's no need for you to purchase it. But for peace of mind, if the policy edition is like only $50, pay it. Pay it because then you get double covered.
Yeah, better be safe than sorry. Yeah,
exactly.
Go for that. Yeah. Well, what about cash? I tend to take, but probably no more than $200 US.
I'm the same.
Just to put my wallet right, because you never know. You might go to a place or a coffee shop, whatever. They only take cash.
That's right.
Then at least you got some cash, especially if you land and you need to take a taxi, for example, right? Some
domestic currency.
You can go there, go to the airport. You got $200 cash US. You can go to the exchange, change it to local currency. You need that for taxis and things like that, or even at the local noodle bar or
Yes,
restaurant.
yes, exactly.
Stuff like that.
If you can buy it direct locally, if there are brokers locally that specialize in certain currencies, you might actually get a better rate. So do look around. But once at the airport, it's already too late. You go there, it's like they have the markup because they're in the airport. But if you can get it here at like a local broker that has currencies already, like there's a few in my town, there's definitely a ton in Richmond, BC, where you are, Winston, where you can get Hong Kong dollar, where you can get, won, NT dollars, and Japanese yen, anything that you want there in sufficient quantity, and they take the lowest amount of a fee. So you might want to just take that with you in the native currency as a $200.
Yeah, you could do that.
Right?
Definitely.
So you can do that. It also goes back to what we were saying about being prepared. If you know you're going to that country anyway, you might as well get the money. And you're going to spend it all anyway. So
that's true.
Go for it.
All right. So with all the travel, you need accessories, gadgets, that stuff like that, right? So bringing electronics is going to be a basic necessity because, people take laptops, tablets, phones, and things like that. So don't forget to take your chargers, right? So whether it be phone charger, laptop charger, tablet chargers are important because if you haven't got that, you're stuck. You're going to have to find a USB port somewhere and you're not going to get that.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that a USB port anywhere in the world is a USB port.
That's true. So
However, some USB ports are very dirty.
So
you have to have, you have to be very aware that newer phones have this function where you plug in for a USB port that it doesn't recognize. You can actually set it to only charge. So it'll block data. But many, many other devices do not have this capability, like your gaming consoles, et cetera, et cetera. So when you plug into these dirty USB ports, you might have your data pulled off of it.
Yeah, that's one thing. Right? And also slow charging.
Yes.
Because a lot of these USB ports are just USB 1 charging.
Yeah, like
kind of style,
0.5, 1 milliamp hour. It's so slow, right? So yeah, like there's devices that you can buy out there. They're called USB condoms. So you basically plug it in place and it will actually block all data coming back out of there. It'll only give the charge signal. If you're in a place that is known for that, in more high-tech places or even India, you could have risk of having that happen. So try not to forget your power adapters. And also, there's one thing that you probably know about the most is that you should probably have the right voltage and the right adapter.
That's right. Yeah. Most of the new chargers that people get now support both 110 volts and 240, right? So you find US, Canada, and Taiwan 110, right?
They're all the same, which is great.
That's all the same, which is great. However, in Japan, Hong Kong, China, and
Italy,
most of Europe, 240, 220, 240. So
in a different plug.
Look out for that because plug in the wrong charger in the wrong voltage. But I think most chargers support both.
110 to 220 is pretty average, really normal. But you have to worry about the plug. There's a European standard. There's also the UK. Is it
UK
different?
3-prong? Yeah. And travel adapters, definitely.
Yeah.
Take 2, 3. If you can't find one, unfortunately, then you have to buy at the airport, which charge you a lot for a plastic piece.
They're like $20. This is ridiculous. So, make certain that you have these with you. They typically sell universal ones that kind of push out with these prongs. Yeah. And if you want to travel light, buy a USB GAN charger that has multiple connections on it because they run very efficiently. They're very small. Most of them will actually power or charge your laptop at the very least. So if you didn't bring your laptop brick by accident, and who wants to bring it anyway, at least you have a way to charge it overnight and get it powered back up. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
That's true. USB cables as well, because I've been stuck with no USB cables. I didn't know how to charge, and that was a bit of a bummer. I'm going to take at least 3 or 4 USB charging cables, and then power banks. So if you can afford one, they're quite cheap, $30, $40, and you get a full charge, 2 full charges for a phone, maybe 1 charge for a tablet. But that's good enough because if you're on an airport or at the plane where the USB might not work or something, then at least you have something that you could charge your phone with or your tablet. So power banks are good to get.
I like getting as small as possible, slimmer ones. A lot of the newer generation battery cells are actually quite small and quite slim. The one that I carry now is one that's made by Anker, and it has a Qi charger on top for my watch, but it also has a 20,000 milliamp hour capacity, but it's also half the width of the one that I bought 5 years ago. And it has power delivery 3.1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
This makes it a great addition to if you have a tablet, if you have a phone, if you have a watch, it does everything. And that's why I love it. Good.
Yeah. There's all those tips you can take with you, gadgets that you can take with travel. Of course, your documentation is important. So go back and double check.
Oh, headphones.
Headphones.
Remember, we're seated right near the children. Even though, Asian children are usually pretty good. Because they know about the feather duster and the slippers. Slippers.
The
backhand. Do have some noise canceling headphones. If you're someone that doesn't want to strike up a conversation beside you, have the big ones that go over your ears. This tells people around you that you're into your zone and that you don't want to talk to them. And that's okay, because sometimes you don't want to say anything that might rile up the person beside you.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you just want to sleep it through.
You want to sleep through, and if they tap you on the shoulder, at least that way, you know that they need to go to the bathroom. That's the only reason why they would tap you on the shoulder. So that's fine. Yeah. Make sure they're wireless if you can, because in that way, there's certain adapters that you can plug into the airplane thing that it's Bluetooth.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can buy these things, and that keeps the cord from dangling through, right?
Yeah.
The headphones that I have are sound Anker sound cores. The Anker sound core actually has a detachable cord. So I like the fact that I can just unplug it, put it in there, and just let the guy go through, plug it back into my headset, and continue on. So that's kind of nice.
Detachable phone cable, which is good.
Yes. And active noise cancellation as well, too. You can also choose to have a conversation with the guy beside you if you want by turning on the transparency mode. So you can watch the movie and listen to the guy beside you at the same time. So, I mean, you can still talk to your family members if they're beside you. Like if Winston over there is saying something, I can't hear him. Sorry, what was that?
I've picked the aisle opposite you.
Yeah.
So the seat opposite, we got an aisle between us.
That's right.
So we got
tons of room, no problem.
Tons of room.
Oh,
if
so
I
happy.
need to, I just got to go. Hey, stretch my arm out, knock you up. Hey,
what's going on?
But definitely the aisle seat for me. I can't bear sitting in the middle.
It's too bad they don't serve duty free on board. But the alcohol is also free. So make sure you have your ID on board and don't pocket it away. Because if you want alcohol on some of these flights, they will have to ID you if you look too young.
ID you. And also, I think they can, depending on your state, the state that you are.
Yeah.
If you're too drunk, they'll actually stop serving you.
Yes. So again, if you look drunk, they may not serve you. If you look too young, they may not serve you. So have your ID on board so that you can get the free booze.
Yeah.
Which will help you sleep. But at the same time, though, I hear it's bad, but it's one of the perks of flying. Internationally. If you're flying Air Canada, you have to pay for everything, which kind of sucks.
All right. So I think that's all the time we have for. So I hope you enjoyed the show, our travel show. Some tips and also some guides on how to have a better, more comfortable flight, right? With air travel. Make sure you have your documentation in place, double check and recheck, and just be prepared with all the stuff and be a bit patient and allow some people to go through with the issues and stuff like that. Oh, and some of the gadgets that
one last tip. I totally forgot about this one because you never think about it until you actually leave. Check on your credit card because there's one extra thing that it has. Depending on which terminal that you're at, there is MasterCard Dragon Pass.
Oh, okay.
For the travel versions of MasterCards, there's a American Express Centurion Club, and then there is Visa has their own thing. Now, your card might already be automatically enrolled, but you actually have to make sure you sign yourself up. Once you have that in the app, you can breeze your way through check-ins because they'll have a MasterCard Dragon Pass line that you can actually go around and go through. So in Italy, they had this for me, and I'm like, I have this card. I'm going that way. So
yeah, faster check-ins.
Yeah, faster check-ins, easier to travel, lounge access. They might actually shuffle you to a lounge area and then shuffle you back in when it's your time. So there's a lot of perks. Booking your hotels, not your hotels, but booking your transfer to hotels can be done in the app. You get lounge access at a discount. You might actually get free lounge access. So all these things, if you want to show up at the airport early, do it, because there's lots of things you can do and take advantage of them. They're free.
That's right. Take advantage. Yeah. All right. So again, safe travels. And of course, if you have any comments, leave them down in the comment section below. Of course, feedback is good. And this is I can't remember which episode, but this is going to be our season 5, right? Season 5?
Yeah, I think this is 42.
Wow. So great to have you and tune in for each and every week. So Stephen, where can we find you?
You can find me at Stephen Fung on Instagram and also at Twitter at Stephen Fung. And if you are on both platforms that are not currently charging you, make sure you hit up at our podcast show on both platforms, on Instagram and on Twitter, where we will also answer you in addition to these 2 channels, right? So if you don't want to see Winston talk about food or anything like that, you can talk to us through at our podcast show. Winston, how can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as well at Winston Chim. And I'll be posting a lot of Taiwan stuff on there.
Food.
And also Twitter at Winston Chim. That's going to be some tech stuff, some lifestyle stuff. So hit me up. And of course, don't forget our podcast show, at our podcast show, Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So until next time, this is Winston and Stephen for our podcast show. See you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.